In my eyes, there's three core components to all of the modern Fallout games. You have the gameplay, so that meaning the combat in Fallout 76, that's going to be the PvP, and of course the even settlement building and this new camp system. Modding, which on some of the older games was only for PC, but nowadays is on Xbox One and PS4 also. And then on many of the previous games, the main appeal was finally the story. For Fallout 76, we know quite a bit about the gameplay. We know that modding is coming and private servers will be a feature. They're just kind of working on it still, so they don't have anything concrete to share with us. One thing I feel like we don't know a ton about though is the story. So in this video, what I want to share with you is pretty much everything we know about the story thus far. This is something I actually tweeted about a little while ago, as well as one of the major sources I'm using here is a Reddit post made by a guy named Katarn343. I'll have a link to that post down below, but I'll also be using a variety of other sources. But before we jump into the video, a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that's going to be NordVPN. NordVPN is going to act as your security as you're browsing the internet. Just like your firewall protects your computer, a VPN is going to protect you online. NordVPN is going to be one of the best options as far as VPNs go right now. They have a custom browser that is lightweight and efficient, a mobile app so you can even stay protected on your phone, and of course their desktop app. All of this allows you to connect to servers in over 62 different countries, and following the link down below or using the coupon code JuiceHead, you can save up to 77% on some of these subscriptions. If you're not using a VPN right now, I would definitely look into it, and I think again, NordVPN is one of the best options out there. For Fallout 76, we know there's going to be one base main quest like we've seen with many of the other Fallouts, and a bunch of other side quests and Radiant quests. So in effect, it's going to be pretty damn similar to how it played out in Fallout 4 and how it does play out in Skyrim also. We do know the way you're going to get and interact with many of these quests are going to be through robots, terminals, and found locations. Found locations are probably the least obvious of those. That's typically when you kind of stumble onto an area and you could find notes or just kind of understand what happened there based off the props that are placed around. And of course, robots and terminals, as Fallout 76 doesn't have any human NPCs. Although the exact scope and goals of the main quest aren't entirely clear, we know it at least starts off with you leaving the vault under the direction of the Overseer to rebuild America. That was the goal of Vault 76. You were meant to be a control vault to store some of the Commonwealth's finest, and after getting released, you're going to go and explore the 6 distinct regions of the map. Another Reddit user actually has created what looks like a fairly complete version of the map, and you could really see that they are distinct regions. There's going to be slightly different experiences in each of those. As far as what they mean by rebuilding, basically we do know that you're going to be able to obviously build your own camp. We also found out that certain settlements will be buildable by multiple people, kind of like a co-op building location, but that's only in specific locations. And even beyond that, certain resources will be at workshops or settlements of some sort, but they're going to be guarded and defended by a monster of some kind. It has been mentioned in interviews past that one of the things the story of Fallout 76 is going to look at is what happened to the people that were living in West Virginia, or specifically the part of West Virginia we're going through. From a lore perspective, it seems like the entire population of West Virginia, or again, at least where you are, was wiped out by the bombs or creatures, because obviously there's no human NPCs. And although getting to explore some of these stories will be part of the game, we don't know how much of a part of the game. Are they just going to make up some of these side quests or even Radiant quests? Things you'll just kind of stumble upon that don't even involve quests at all, but give you a little bit of the context of where you are. Or on the other hand, maybe actually finding out the fate of certain people will be a major component of Fallout 76's story. All of that is still unclear. We don't know how big of a role this is going to play. We do know that the Chinese have a much stronger presence this time around than they have in some of the previous Fallout games. Some of their covert and cover facilities are still present because there were a ton of spies in the US during the time of the Great War before the bombs themselves actually did drop. Mama Dulce's being one example of that, but in addition, we also have the Liberators. It's not totally clear as to what these are, but obviously they're robots of some kind that are seen fighting the player, and they do have Chinese insignia on them. Nukes are a major component in Fallout 76. The way you're going to get nukes is you actually have to find 6 nuke codes around the map. You'll have to gather all 6 codes in order to actually launch a nuke, and it's going to be changing. So after getting 6 codes, the next 6 codes will spawn somewhere else, and it should hypothetically get increasingly difficult. Outside of just getting the nuke codes themselves, nukes actually serve a role. Basically, the Scorch Beasts are these large creatures that are actually seen being fought in the trailer. They basically have underground fissures where they're actually going to nest, and you're meant to use the nukes against these to either close up the fissures or maybe just nuke the scorch beats themselves. It seems like this will obviously be something that repeats. I imagine on a single server you'll make these scorch beats go away for a certain amount of time, but then I imagine they'll come back since you could get more nukes. But it was mentioned in an interview that this is one of the things you're meant to do towards the end of the game. It's not clear if that means that you have prerequisite quests, like you have to complete other things first, or it's just you need to be a fairly high level to actually get all of the nuke codes because, well, they're probably guarded or difficult to acquire. Mothman is seemingly going to be an interesting character in Fallout 76's story. Whether it just makes up one side quest or a core component of the main story itself isn't clear, but what we do know is Mothman is actually going to be an enemy that interacts with you in stages. In his first stage, he's going to stalk you and won't seemingly take on his full form based off what we've seen in the trailers. Then of course there's going to be subsequent stages where your interactions with him will be different, and he's said to be unique compared to a lot of the other enemies. And then finally, the Flatwoods monster is seemingly from space. We basically saw some of him in the NoClip documentary, and although that's not necessarily confirmed, it certainly looks like he's a Zetan or something of otherworldly origin. And just a broader look at Fallout 76's plot, based off what I've just told you, it seems like a bunch of the plot is going to be much more consistent of man versus entity or man versus nature. In previous Fallout games, the main conflict was almost always between two humans or two groups of humans. Well, in this one, it obviously isn't going to be the case since there's no human NPCs. You might be able to read about conflicts between opposing humans, but you're not actually going to get to experience them firsthand. All in all, this seems like it's going to be quite distinctively different from some of the previous Fallout games. Again, we don't know a ton about the story compared to especially how much information we have on PvP, base building, and even mods. I do hope as weeks progress and we get closer to the release of Fallout 76, we get more story details. That's definitely the thing I've been yearning for the most since we got the E3 reveal. By the way, based off what I just shared with you, are you excited for Fallout 76's story? Do you think the game itself is going to be fun? I know there's definitely been some mixed reactions to it, but specifically with the story, are you looking forward to this new man versus nature approach? Either way, as always, again, I thank you all for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.
I really shouldn't talk to you because I'm busy and all.
Tell you.
Oh, I heard about you. You're the